today. Who's doing this? Is this you, Jack?
Yep, I got it. All right. So,
That's your cue.
Gotcha. I'll go then. John Heyman article late last night.
Yeah.
He's put 10 MLB stars' chances of being dealt before the MLB trade deadline. Luis Robert for the White Sox, he puts that at over a 50% chance. Says the White Sox are actively seeking packages for Robert. Could I interest you in Robert or any other White Sox player for the Northsiders if they make a move for one of those guys to move over to the Cubs?
This is always an intriguing conversation,
What
like the crosstown trade.
What would it cost?
This is a confusing one for me because I asked you guys earlier, who would pay top dollar in a trade for Luis Robert? He is cost controlled for a while, and he's got all the talent in the world, but it could be a matter of time before he goes down again with another injury. So why would
But if maybe you get him into your building with your trainers and your people, and you think that you'll have different results.
Well, right, but
Last year he
could
played
be faulty.
145 games.
I know that, but it could be damaged goods.
Could be.
Why would you would kick yourself if 10 games in or 15 games in or 20 games in a pennant race, all of a sudden he pulls up lame with another hip injury. After 2 years in a row, he's had hip injuries. And you say, well, boy, were we dumb.
Well, won't that affect the cost? You won't have to give up as much.
Well, would the White Sox trade him if you're not getting a top package back?
So Chris Getz calls you and says, hey, Jed, you interested in Luis Robert? And then what do you say?
I got Nick Madrigal. You want him back?
Is this Jed Hoyer or Jed? No, I've got Luis Robert. Are you interested?
I'd be interested. Yeah, I mean, he is.
What's
something
your question to me?
He is something that the Cubs don't have. But again, so what? You would move Cody Bellinger to first and have Luis Robert play center field, and then what? So you would start then with Pete Crow Armstrong.
Sure, you can have him. He can't hit his weight.
Well, wait, he's still one of the top prospects in baseball.
If you want someone who can't hit his weight.
He's also, 22 years old?
I know, I'm being a little drastic right now.
That'd be a straight up deal. PCA for
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think the White Sox would do that. You would have to add another.
Well, wait a second. You just told me he's one of the top prospects in all Major League Baseball.
He is.
That should be enough. He's not going to cost Jerry anything down there, right?
Well, I would
you
do
trade in a heartbeat?
Yes, I would do that. Of course.
I would definitely be interested. It's just I can't give you a king's ransom for a guy that I don't know. I don't know whether or not he's going to be available. Look, if he stays healthy for a full let's say 150, he's an MVP candidate.
Right.
And a Gold Glove center fielder.
I know, but that's a big if.
Well, you want to roll them dice? He's 26 years old. Of course, I don't know. I mean, there may be, he may have congenitive hip issues. I don't know. But there'd be a risk for sure. But he's not, like you said, he's cost-controlled as well. How many more years do they have him under a cost-controlled contract if you're the White Sox?
2 club options after this year.
Okay, so you're going to get him for at least 2 more years.
Yeah, you have him for this year's run and next year and the year after.
And again, you're thinking to yourself, as long as there's no real structural issues, we get him in our system and we'll treat him differently and he won't have these same issues. Let me ask you a question. If you're another Major League Baseball team, 29 other Major League Baseball teams, do you believe everybody they have on that team is just fragile? Or do you believe that there's something going on there that maybe they're doing something wrong and we won't do that stuff wrong? I would tell you, I don't know. Wherever Eloy's conditioning, he's probably going to find issues.
Well, the Cubs said that too. Remember, that's what Jesse told us the story that the Cubs' former pitching coach told him immediately. That's going to be a player who's always going to be hurt. And the White Sox, when Jesse brought that up to Rick Hahn, he scoffed at that. Now, he didn't tell him who his source was, but
I'm interested if I'm the Cubs. It's just a matter of where you are.
So okay. So let's work this out. It's Pete Crow Armstrong and Ben Brown. Too
Done.
much?
Done.
Would you do it?
Done.
I
Ben
wouldn't
Brown's
do it
been
for the
in
Cubs.
major. Ben Brown's been in the minor leagues for 6 years, right?
Yeah. What you wouldn't do it, Jack, as a Cubs fan?
It's too much for me. He would be a great piece. I would do PCA and maybe a lower level pitching prospect for Robert. But I don't know if I could give up that much for a guy who's been injured as much as he has, who's only played 10 games this year, who we've only seen really 1 year of success from.
Okay, that's fair.
Jordan Wicks and PCA.
Done.
That gets me closer.
What was Smokey in there? He's closer to it as well.
We
Is that what he
just
said?
But what do they want? They want young pitching and young play. They want young and young. So,
Like you're gonna. I mean, you got Wicks, right? So I mean, okay, you trade Ben Brown, but you got Wicks, or vice versa. PCA.
I still like PCA. I'm not judging
fine.
anybody based
He's
on
never
what.
going to hit 25 home runs.
Well, I mean, we'll see. You never. I'm not saying he is either. Don't get me wrong. I'm not judging a guy. What has he played? 30 Major League Baseball games.
Agreed.
What has he started? 30 or 35?
I know it's a very small number, and I know he's very young, as you said. He's, under no circumstances would I be an advocate of giving up on him. I'm just saying,
For
like,
you
look,
would be trading him for a potential star player.
a potential MVP, for Christ's sake.
I know, but again, injury.
True, but again,
No, well, I'm in on PCA for Robert, but what's the second piece? Because I don't believe that gets it done.
Well, and again, I like what I've seen from Ben Brown, but are you going to overvalue Ben Brown at this point? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the only one on the planet
Cubs
that's
and
saying I
Sox
would do
fans,
both.
how do you feel about this? What 312-332-3776.
I'd be interested in Robert.
What would it take to get for both sides of town? What would it take to get a Robert deal done? And then you take Cody Bellinger and move him to first.
Absolutely.
And then it doesn't. And for Cubs fans too, it's again one of these cost control deals. What does he make? 18? What does Robert make? I don't believe it's a ton of money. And then when you go in free agency next year, you're not hamstrung because of what you're paying your center fielder either.
He signed a 6-year, $50 million contract.
Yeah, you're not paying a lot for someone of that talent.
But he has there's a club option on him for $20 million a year for the next 2 years.
Okay, so you're paying
him what you're paying Ian Happ.
Yes.
Yeah. Which isn't, that's not gonna break your bank.
What's next, Jack? That's a good question.
I got a quick baseball one for you. So I was looking at the overall WAR rankings in Fangraphs, so wins above replacement. I'll ask you guys, how many players between the Cubs and the Sox combined do you think are in the bottom 50 this season? 50 worst players in baseball in WAR.
Let's do this.
Well, what's his name? The catcher. He's one of the worst players in all of baseball.
Maldonado.
He is the worst.
He is the worst. Yeah.
The worst.
I heard them talking about it this morning about that a lot of Sox fans are trying to hashtag him into the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And Cap was having nothing of it. Like, everyone wants to make this a joke, and he's like, oh, no, this would take away the sanctity of the All-Star game. I'm like, bro.
It's already gone.
Yes.
Bro.
Like
You
this
broed him.
This has been... no one cares about the All-Star game to begin with.
I got Benintendi.
He's number 2.
I got
in all of baseball.
Maldonado.
Yep.
Maldonado's got to be in there as well.
I got to look at the
I mean,
rosters to
are
make
you
sure.
talking about how many games you got to be playing?
It doesn't matter.
I mean,
because
is
it's
Danny
cumulative throughout the
Mendick
year.
in there?
Danny Mendick. I do not see Mendick. No, Mendick's not on there.
Well, are we counting like a player like Miles Mastrobuoni or Nick Madrigal?
Mastroboni is not in the bottom 50. Madrigal is in the bottom 50. You can
Okay.
count them because it's cumulative throughout the year. So
Okay.
each bad play that you make or each out you make adds into that.
Jan
So points
Gomes
above
is on that
replacement.
list.
Yes.
Jan Gomes is in there as
Miguel
well.
Amaya's on that
Both
list.
catch-
Amaya is not on that
Oh,
list.
wow.
I'm not buying that. The list just went south on me. Christopher Morel?
No.
No.
Well, he's a .1 WAR, and by the way, your
That's
defense.
not bottom because there's many negative WAR
Oh,
guys.
I know, but like your defensive WAR, what is? I mean, he's definitely a minus.
Who are we missing, Jack?
So on the Cubs side, Alzolay is 14
Oh, yeah,
in
pitchers.
terms of baseball. Jan Gomes is 15. Braden Shoemake, the White Sox, is 21. Nick Madrigal at 24. Kyle Hendricks at 29.
I wasn't thinking pitchers.
Andrew Vaughn is at 31.
Wow.
Yeah.
How he has fallen.
Michael Soroka at 42.
He's bad.
And then Robbie Grossman, who's been cut from the Sox, is all the way down at 49. So out of the bottom 50 players in baseball, 10 of them come from Chicago right now.
That's crazy.
If they were evenly dispersed around every single team, there should be 3 to 4 in
Are
Chicago.
you somebody that believes at the age of 26, if Andrew Vaughn found himself in a different environment, he may be a little better? I'm not going to suggest to you he's ever going to be great.
The culture maybe has brought them all down.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, too, only one player in the top 50 between all the Chicago teams.
And that would be Shota.
Nope. Garrett Crochet for Fangraphs.
I guess showed it too.
But that's Aki's A-list.
That's good.